Listen, we're back with Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life, and we're here with the wonderful David and Tamela Mann. Listen, guys, talk to me about season 2 of Tyler Perry's Assisted Living, where you guys ended up the #1 cable show, comedy among Black audiences on cable. Period. #1.
Wow.
What that season was like, and then what you're excited about for season 3.
Well, talk about it. All I can say is, wow. We
Yeah.
never could have imagined. Like, we've been doing these characters for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, Cora and Mr. Brown. I mean, if you don't know them, where you been?
And we've been doing them for 22 years, and to still be relevant in our community, because you know how we do. You can be here today and gone this evening.
Yes.
And so to still have kids watching us, and then have people say, wow, we grew up on you.
Yes.
And then the grandmama's watching and the kids are watching. All I can say is, God, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Because I know that's not normal.
Wow. It's like the fun. It's like the same kind of fun that we're adding more characters for, season 3, and they're reoccurring more.
Yeah.
So it's like the fun just increased.
It elevated
from season 2 to season 3. So it's like, it's really just to me, just taking legs and running, and we're having a great time doing it.
They let us loose even more on the show now. Like,
is it we?
Well, yeah, we.
But we're having a good time. Really had a good time doing season 3 as well.
Well, I mean, talk to me about the chemistry. Okay, so it's a comedy, and it's often an off the chain comedy. It's clear that you guys are having fun doing it, and that doesn't always happen, even on comedies. That the comedy is work, even if it comes out well to us as the viewers. I've talked to performers. I've interviewed everybody from like Wayne Brady to Adele Givens, and comedy is work when all said and done, to get it done right.
How I gauge what I think the audience will like is I look behind the camera with the camera crew, the grip guys, the people that are working behind the scenes.
Since we don't have a live audience.
Right. Who are there at 4 or 5 in the morning, who are ready to go. If you see them coming to the edge to watch the scenes and laughing and enjoying it, because their deal is like, look, we've seen everything and we're ready to go. When I see the camera people, can barely contain themselves holding the camera and they're enjoying it, I'm like, okay, we have something here.
No, that's just fire. It's fuel for him. He gets to cutting up even more for us who's right there on the set with him. And especially me, I get in trouble all the time because I'm an audience cast member. I'm laughing when I'm supposed to be having a straight face. So I'm like, wait, let's do that again. But I'm just really having a good time, and working with David and even with Jay Anthony and Courtney and Naeem, it's like the whole cast and the
new characters
that we've brought in, Miss Aretha and Chad, who plays F.A., and she plays.
It's some crazy stuff going on with the new characters.
Miss Aretha plays Anastasia.
Yeah, and they're adding even more. And when I tell you the antics that's going on in this assisted living place,
it's funny. It's funny to just see the older. It's like our seasoned people, how their lives. It's like everybody are trying to accomplish our bucket list and doing things to just find ourselves as we get older. We still living. It's just to let people know that just because we're older don't mean we're dead.
And some of them still think they're teenagers.
And still it's finding love.
Yeah.
Mr. Brown.
I do love that the show, both in real life, because you've been around and entertaining audiences for so long. So your audience is multi-generational, but the characters on the show is multi-generational. And it gets you, into some great topics and issues, even as you're bringing fun and laughter, entertainment to it. Talk to me about how you approach certain topics that are serious topics, bring the levity to it, but also use it as an opportunity to educate and inspire and uplift. So that's the element I like about it, that you can enjoy the show, but you can come away with feeling hopeful and inspired and merciful and compassionate. All the fruit of the spirit you can get if you're really paying attention to the storylines of the show.
Well, you know, with the show, we never wanted, it's a comedy, so we never want to have, you know, it where there are so many, you know, uptight and dramatic deal that we can't come out with some comedy, but we also want to address things that are going on in our society, whether it's police brutality, whether, like she said, dealing with seniors in love, whether dealing with death and passing away, you know, at an older age. But we always bring it back around. When those scenes come in, you'll see us kind of put a light moment right behind it.
If it's a heavy scene.
If it's a heavy scene. But you know, we still want to address and deal with all those things that are going on in our world today.
Right.
I mean, you guys do a great job of striking that balance. Like if it's a heavy scene, you don't want to be dismissive because it's a heavy
Right.
But you also don't want the heavy scene to weigh down the comedy, because the goal is for people to enjoy themselves. And for me, it's to leave. Whenever I watch an episode, I leave the episode feeling hopeful. And to me, that's the ultimate message of being people of faith. That no matter what happens, we have hope.
Yes, sir. That's what it's all about. And I think, and that's what I love about the writers, that they're giving inspiration as well as we getting the funny. You know, it's like you to me, I always call it a roller coaster, when you can get heavy laughter, then you fall down to a deep point and you rise up. David was really good at kind of merging those like really deep scenes and kind of
bringing them back to the comedy.
Padding it a little bit where it's not like you.
Why you want to cut your wrist or something? I don't know, you know.
Right.
But also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Please, go ahead. You go.
No, I'm just saying, but I also want to make sure that we keep the sincerity and the sensitive moments, you know. But I want to make sure I bring it back around to what people tuned in to see is comedy.
Right. So true.
Well, I'm going to ask you guys a question, because you've been Cora and Mr. Brown again for so long, and these people are family members to us. We see them at the barbecue now.
Right.
How much of them is you? I mean, how did you cultivate these characters, build these characters over time, decide who they are and how they are? How much of it is you guys?
For me, Tamela and Cora are one of the same, because I am an encourager in real life, and I became, since I was able to create the character, I just kind of made her who I am, and trying to encourage people and be the peacemaker, especially between Madea and Mr. Brown, how we started.
Ain't no peace with us.
I mean, it's like, you know, I was always in the middle of like, hey, no, don't do that. Don't say that to him. Don't say that to her. You know, it's like trying to keep the love there, and, you know, because I wanted both of my parents, even though Mr. Brown is kind of my daddy and not my daddy, but he's my daddy. Okay, but that's
keeping it real.
We're one of the same, Cora and Tamela.
Now, I'm not Mr. Brown. I can't wear those clothes. I can't go out like that. But some of the say what comes to your mind, that's kind of me a little, especially the older I get. You know, because when I first started doing the character, all of this was black. And now you know, a lot of times you grow out of a character. I'm growing into the character.
Oh, wow.
I'm becoming Mr. Brown.
I sometimes he's like, I'm going to the store. He's like, I'm gonna go with you. I'm like, no, don't go. Because see, I changed his hair up, and people are second guessing, like, I think you look like that lady. And then when I have him with me, they're like, that's y'all. It's out of the grave.
True.
Well, listen, guys, I'm so glad to have you on the show. I'm having such a good time. We're going to take another quick break, everybody. We're enjoying, of course, David and Tamela Mann. This is Be Lifted Up, your guide to living an abundant life, and we will be right back.